All right, all right, all right. Let's do this. Let's do this. Well, good morning, good evening, what to do? How are you? Hootie hoo. Grand Rising 2. I am the sound of money in your ear, dollar Avant. That's Steel Double O. I'm off an imitator, never duplicated. They call me the $1 billion Bae, aka the Pitch Queen, aka the People's Coach, aka Coach Dollar Bill. You are in the dollhouse. This is the home of high value entrepreneurs. Over here, it is day number 12 of this 100-day challenge. And we're on a mission. What if you gave 100% of your best effort 100% of the time for 100 days? How would your life be different? What if you followed your intuition, followed your spirit, okay? 100% of the time for 100 days. What would be different for you? What would change for you? So that's what we're doing over here. So on today, I'm going to talk a little bit about, I believe that entrepreneurship is a spiritual act. And I talk about this a lot. You're taking something from the unseen, something you can't see, can't touch, can't feel, and now you're bringing it into the seen physical realm that other people can engage in and experience it. And there's so much misconception, so much misinformation about what it means to be an entrepreneur and all of those things. And having done this myself, having built a company from nothing to being evaluated at 8 figures and working with some of the largest companies in the world and learning how to take an idea out of my head and kind of turn that into an asset where we actually raised funding of almost $2 million. I had a whole team, 15 people, like people got mortgages and private school payments, and I was responsible for that, which was very stressful, but that's a whole nother thing. And what I've learned from that, and also being mentored by people who either ran billion-dollar companies, founded billion-dollar companies, who are billionaires themselves from their family and things like that, that knowledge is just not something that's commonly shared with folks that look like you and me. And so I've created this platform. I've been in a WhatsApp group. I've been teaching at large entrepreneurship centers across the country, but privately, right? It's more like if you know, like if you meet me, you hear me speak live or something like that, then you might come into the world. But mostly I have purposely been off of social media, not trying to be outside like that. But you know what? It's the end of the world. Not for real. Not for real. It's just the end of the world as we know it. You know what I'm saying? It's the end of the version of America, the global financial system that we were used to coming up, growing up. You know what I'm saying? And like I always say, it's not 1985. We don't have time. I need y'all to not be distracted. Okay. So let's just do something. Let's do something I haven't done yet. I'm just going to do it today. Let's see what we get. I'm going to go to YouTube and I'm going to look up the Breakfast Club. Let's see what the Breakfast Club is talking about on today. Let's just see. I don't know. Let's check it out. Okay, we talking about Renee Good and Christy Noam and what she talking about. Let's go to the channel. Let's see what we're talking about. And I'll tell you why we're doing this in a minute. Let's check it out though. Come on, Jess Hilarious. Most recent videos, what are we talking about? Loyalty. What's the lady name? Okay, these people are off of TikTok. I don't even know the lady name, but y'all know what I'm talking about. I know it if I see it. You know what I'm saying? But there's a lady, and then her husband cheated on her. She found out, so now they getting divorced. Okay, my man used to be on Punky Brewster. Used to be he's an actor. You know, he's famous. He's one of these people that you might not know his name, but you know his face. He passed away. Okay, we worried about Fetty Wap just got out of prison. Okay. And then we got something about Renee Good, and we got Trump calling for credit card interest rate caps, and celebrities mad because what ICE did in the streets. And then we got Golden Globes and more Fetty Wap. Okay. Why am I bringing that up? Why am I saying that? Because y'all, when I told my audience, my group the other day, I was like, it's basically World War III, like not for real. And I can't be saying that outside, but basically, I mean, sort of, just kind of, not really, but basically. And so, what does that even mean? Like, how do we move in a world where all the pieces on the chessboard are being switched around all around us, and we're not getting the headlines? We're getting a little splash of this and a little splash of that, and then we back to, what Cardi B them talking about. And I'm here for all the entertainment news. I personally Had a ball watching the Diddy thing. I thought it was hilarious because we already knew this. If you're in the entertainment industry, you already heard some of these stories, right? But it's just like, they wilding, and that's fine. But hey, we got to move differently when it comes to our finances, our decisions that we're making about how we move so that we can be out of the way when things get different. And I'm doing a whole episode on this somewhere, one of these channels, my podcast and all of this, because the people that are making these decisions on the global stage already have generational wealth. The thing we talk about, what we talk about when we say, oh, I'm going to get my money together and, oh, I got to, I'm starting a business because we say generational wealth. We say that real casually, but understand what generational wealth means. It means I don't have to worry about no money. I got assets that are going to keep growing and increasing in value. Doesn't matter what's going on out here. We've got assets. I want you to know there's about 10,000 family offices in the world, and almost half of them now are moving actively pursuing crypto strategies. What's your crypto strategy? Other than, in my Cash App, I bought a piece of Bitcoin one time, you know what I'm saying? And then I had a bill to pay, so I went and sold it, What's our strategy? They got time. They've been working on Greenland. Everybody thinks, oh, Trump is coming up with this now. Got a whole episode on this. This has been going on since we bought Alaska in 1867. You know the time when we were just fresh out of slavery and just trying to figure out how we were going to eat and stuff. They've had us keeping our head above water for centuries now. But they're playing a long game. So everything that's going on in Greenland right now was going on in 1867 and even before with the Monroe Doctrine, okay, which is 1823. So I need us to start reading the stars. Let's zoom out, okay? Let's have a little carve out for, our little entertainment news and worried about what the pastor's wife had on and all this kind of stuff that we want to talk about. And y'all, it's not new. Let me not get political, but we know that certain members of law enforcement have been gunning down people that look like us in the street for a long time. We've been mad about it for a long time, right? So the fact that certain people are now upset because the person that it happened to looks like them, it's what you want to do. That's a whole other topic. But what I'm trying to let you know is you cannot be distracted. Capitalism was not built for us. It was built on us. When you see moves, when you see, oh, now we're investigating the Fed chair, oh, like all this stuff is happening, it feels like this, you got to zoom out, learn how to read the stars. If you learn how to read the stars, you won't just survive, but you'll actually thrive. You'll be able to move out the way. I did a survey of my group last March. It's about to be a year. It was March the 29th, 2025, which was after a year of me yelling. I have a private WhatsApp group that you can join. If you see this video somewhere, you'll see a link somewhere, and it's free. But, it's for melanated people. But anyway, and I was like, y'all see what's going on out here, right? When I was talking, they were like, oh, you sound crazy, dog. You sound dramatic. I'm like, how about now? How about now? Do I sound crazy now? Anyway, I asked the group the last time we got together all in public, I said, how many of you guys just kind of in your spirit, you've been thinking like, maybe, possibly my family, we need to think about leaving America. It was just a casual little survey. And when I tell you 95% of the people in the room raised their hand, like, yeah, it's kind of been in my heart. I might need to get out the way. Y'all, this is like, the Great Migration, when like 6 million Americans, Black Americans, like kind of started making their way out of the South and just like spreading out. You know what I'm saying? Just let's disperse a little bit. Let's just have some strength in other pockets. Okay. That moment is here. There are many, many of us who have been feeling like, I need to move. I need to do something. And what I'm here to tell you is, if you don't have no money, if you don't have no resources, it's very difficult for you to move. And it matters more than we think it does. So that's what I do over here. I teach people how to generate cash flow so you can be all right. So you can buy you some assets so you can get out the way. Like, let's just do that. How about we just do that? So in order for me to do that, I can't play with you when it comes to entrepreneurship. I can't play with you when it comes to what really matters. Where does value come from? Where does abundance come from? You know how to say where do babies come from? I'm telling you that your human interface is a technology that was designed to allow you to interface and interact between the unseen and the seen. So where's your idea, your business idea in the unseen? Where is all this inspiration, all this motivation when you like, oh my God, I see it. Oh my God, the vision. Where is that? In the unseen. And so the job is now to program your thinker, your doer, your knower. The job is to program your thinker, your doer, your knower, so that you can actually be in position to start moving differently, to start getting different results. So you got the unseen realm where all of these ideas come from, this inspiration comes from, this, oh, I know I need to be doing something different. Oh, when those moments of inspiration, you know, that's your spirit, okay? The part that you can't touch, see, or feel. Well, you can feel it, but you can't touch it with your physical senses, right? Now you have to program this interface, this beautiful technology, so that you could intentionally get results that reflect your inner world in your 3D lived experience. That's what entrepreneurship is. It is personal development. Personal development and business development are the same thing. You're only going to go as far in your business as you have grown and developed as a person. Okay. So some people, they go the other way. And capitalism is good for this. They will go the the they will cheat. Okay, let's say it that way. They'll cheat and do anything to get an outcome. They'll just do whatever. They don't care who they hurt, what people or parts of the planet get messed up in the process, as long as they get their money and keep it pushing. You know, they do what they do. They make profit at the expense of people and the planet. But there's another way. Okay. The artificial system was built on the natural system. That's why we talk about liquidity and cash flow and all these terms that have to do with water. Rivers flow through banks. There's so many terms like that. Currency, like electric current, it's all based on the natural laws of abundance. So instead of you violating humanity and violating principles and violating your integrity to make money, which does not align with a lot of our personalities, you don't have to just therefore sit back and not make money. You can move in a way that's in alignment with the natural system. But to do that, you got to completely change your approach to how you make calls, how you're doing outreach, who you're talking to every day, what you do with your time every day, because the day becomes a week becomes a month becomes 3 months, you know, a whole quarter, half the year goes by, you go to vacation, you come back, now it's September. Oh, the kids got to go to school. Oh, now it's holidays. Now we do it again. Like, we don't have time to keep moving the same way that we have every day, every week, every month. It's different now. Okay, you see what's going on. It's like red alert. We don't have time to be talking about Diddy and Cardi B them and the girl from TikTok who found out the man was cheating on her and now they're getting a divorce. Why is that top news on all of my Black media pages right now? Why? It's because I don't know, either they don't know or they don't care to inform you about what's actually going on. So I'm here to help you get some cash flowing so you can get out the way. It's not a negotiation. It's not a performance. When you're going to make a sales call or doing actual general outreach for your business every day so that you have new people coming in every day, like to the point, like you need to build, if you have like a weekly Zoom or a monthly meetup that you want to do as your cadence, or an email newsletter, a Substack, or whatever that is, you need to be reaching out to real humans every day and trying to digitize that, learning the skill of showing up on social media and having the same exchange as if you were talking in person, working on that every day until you have 50, 100, 200, 400 people where you can hit a button and reach those people. So if you need to move to another country, be on the other side of the world somewhere, you still have a business. As opposed to being stuck to, I hope somebody remembers me, I hope twos and fews. You need a group of people who are already leaning in to you for something that they need, your thought leadership, something that's valuable to them, so that when, this thing just happened in Greenland, your business doesn't get affected because you've already built those bonds. Okay, beyond like, oh, a nice to have, or oh, like I made a transaction one time, long time ago. They need to see you as a critical part of their internal world, like how they move in their business, their identity, like how they're showing up in the world. You need to be a part of that. You need to be on the inside, okay, of that. We've got to build relationships way beyond transactions. So when we do sales, this is actually a sacred exchange of energy. I want y'all to get a different mindset around sales today. I don't ever want you to be scared or nervous about doing sales or outreach again, because I don't even use that word. It's not sales, it's service. Okay, it's providing solutions. But when you have a conversation with somebody about potentially buying something from you, right? Whether you have a meeting schedule, you got to present to a board, or whether you're just casually talking using the Afro method, because it should just be a conversation. This is a sacred exchange of energy where one human being is saying, yep, I have this problem, or I'm in this state. I would love to be on another state. And then you on the other side of that, you're offering a solution. You're saying, oh, I can help you get there faster. I can help you save money, avoid mistakes, whatever. This is a sacred exchange. Okay. In that moment, when somebody says, yes, I would love your help, there's a transformation that happens. It's a metamorphosis. It's like a caterpillar being in a cocoon. What is the moment where it becomes a butterfly? Like, it's the thing. Okay. So again, it's not just service that you're selling somebody, right? They're actually raising their hand and saying, hey, I'm ready for a change. So the more specific you are, right, about describing the problem state, and then this transformation that they're going to get on the other side of working with you, the more they'll be like, hey, I need that. So the more clarity you can provide, clarity leads to connection. And connection is the birthplace of all currency. So they should be able to have a very clear idea of what change you're providing, what transformation they can get by working with you. And they can raise their hand and say, yes, I'm ready for that. They could choose to have a moment of growth instead of just staying where they were, staying in their comfort zone. And they could choose to invest in their future self and all of that just by choosing to work with you. And then when you position yourself in this way, it elevates the work, okay? You're not just making money, not just making your quota for the week and all of that. You're actually holding space. You're like bearing witness, to their decision to be great. Now, doesn't that sound more exciting than like, oh my God, I got to make these sales calls and I don't want to do the outreach, but I'm going to do it anyway because, Doll said, da. Because what happens, I've been doing this a long time. What people do, they get excited. They're like, okay, I got a new business coach. I made a decision, I'm investing in myself, da. And they go like 2-3 months, they go hard in the paint. And then they go back to their old frequency. I need you to become a very different person. So this is only for, there's about 100 people that are going to make this. We got 18 months, y'all, if that. We got to make this transition and be on the other side of this where we're cash flowing. It's not a problem. We're winning. We're good. We're having asset conversations. I want to talk about, what do? I got extra money. What are my tax strategies? What are they to be doing? That's what I want to be talking about. So it's only going to be about 100 people that's going to make it to the other side. So that's why I'm going to show up every day. I'm going to do this work. I'm going to grow on my channels and do all the things. So I have content. This is my appointment with myself. I'm making content every day. And it's going to be different in 6 months. Y'all going to see. So anyway, when you show up like this, you're not just making money. You're holding space for the folks to have this transformation. You become this bridge, something very valuable. They want to get to the other side. You're the bridge that helps them get there between where they are and where they want to be. Y'all haven't been to the Florida Keys? It's crazy that my whole family, my mom's from Havana, but they're off of Florida. And like, I never been to the Florida Keys. I don't know what that's about, but the bridge, the big long bridge is just like 90 miles, not 90 miles, but it feels like 90 miles of water and you just on a bridge forever. How would you get there without the bridge? You want to become essential to something that they have to do. You need to become a part of that. And so instead of approaching sales or this outreach with fear or like feeling like you got to manipulate people, getting, really scared of being rejected and all this kind of stuff, and trying to convince people, you don't have to do none of that. This is service. This is about learning. This is about connecting. This is about creating space, holding space for this sacred exchange. And then once we can make that transition in our mind, then we won't mind. We'll be excited. We'll get creative about creating these spaces where people can hang out with us before, during, and after a purchase. We're just holding the energy. Oh, I could do live events. Oh, I can get on a podcast. Oh, I could be a guest on other people's podcasts. Oh, I could teach like this. Oh, these are the 10 questions that everybody keeps asking me. Let me make sure. Like, it becomes a creative act. You know what I'm saying? You're birthing something, not like, oh my God, I don't know what I'm going to do. That's a restrictive, that's a limiting space versus an expansive, creative space. That's where we want to live from. Y'all make the shift. We're going to be fine. Okay. So if you're doing this, I'm pushing you really hard because every day, every week, you need to be having 5, 10, 15, 20 real conversations with actual humans. This is what's going to move your business faster. And that still probably seems foreign and extra to a lot of people because you're like, well, hold on, do I even know that many people? That's why we got to turn on the social media aspect of it. That's why we have to learn the skill of talking to a human and doing it digitally, because you might not physically go out and meet 50 new people, although some people are still going door to door and going office to office and going to networking events, and you can do really well bringing new people into your world. But then there has to be this space, right? These touch points where they can hang out with you. They can read your Substack. They could listen to your podcast. They could see you on social. They could chime in on LinkedIn. They, a place where they can hang out and kind of work through that process of that customer journey with you. This is the work. If we do this work, it's front loaded. If we do it on the front end, though, you won't have no problem making money going forward. You'll be able to move to the island and still be making money if they start doing something crazy in America. I don't know why nobody's talking about this. May 2025, President Trump announced we are setting aside money. We're going to be building the Golden Dome. You know what that is? Just like in Israel, they have, I think it's called the Iron Dome. They have this military defense thing, and it's like this thing that stops missiles from coming. They're preparing for war in the United States. But we got time. Like, I don't understand what's going on here. So instead of just sitting around and, oh my God, I don't know. And now we worried about Minnesota. Y'all, it's horrible. Everything that's going on is horrible. But please, y'all know, I mean, it's the same city. It wasn't just George Floyd in 2020, 2016. The same city, the same thing happened to Philando Castile, the exact same scenario. And we still got time to do this. Y'all, we need to get it together. Anyway, so by the end of today or this week, I want you to have at least 5, 10, 15 real human conversations, which means you got to be stacking your calendar, which means you need to be putting out real content and having those real human connections with people to invite them to do something, a call to action. Like, you've got to become great at this. Some people are going to be like, yes, absolutely. Some people are going to say, I know. Some people are just going to watch you. We're in the age of the observer. Okay, so everybody's not going to move right away. So you have to have such a volume of people that you're touching that a percentage of them comes into your world so you can keep your engine going. You have to be laser focused. It's no longer an option for you not to have people coming through the energy. Okay, it's like having a school. We don't go out and spend 10 years raising millions of dollars to build the school and now crickets because there's no students. Reverse that. I need you to go get all these students and find out what they want and start building it. As you meet people, put the features in there that they're asking for, but don't just wait and then build it and then sit there. Kevin Costner lied to y'all. He said, if you build it, they will come. No, if you go and talk to humans, they will come. So anyway, we got to do this work. So there's a moment before, like when I teach the Afro method, and I'm like, okay, aspirations, frustrations, go through your framework, reflection, and go ahead and give them some value right then. It's like, okay, based on what I'm hearing you saying, I've heard a lot of clients experiencing the same thing. Either there's a tool you've already prepared, or you're like, let me send you my recommendations. Here's what I recommend based on, give them value right then. And then if they're showing interest, they're reflecting back to you. Yeah, I really do need that. I need to get my stuff together. If you've done a great job, then you're like, okay, there's an opportunity for us to work together. You tell them about your offer, what you got going on, and then stop talking. You guys have heard me say this. And that's that moment that determines everything. You asked all your questions. You said what you got to say. You're doing all this. And then you make your offer. Stop talking. In that silence, there's like that pregnant pause between when you make an offer and when they respond. This is when that metamorphosis thing happens. Okay, because they're not just making a decision to spend money. All purchasing decisions are emotional decisions. They're deciding who they want to become. They're deciding, do they trust you to get them some outcome? They're deciding if you're making them feel like they want to feel and they want to take another action with you. So every time somebody says yes, it's a shift in identity. Every time they make a purchase, it's a declaration of who they are and who they want to be. Okay, they're saying, I'm the kind of person to make this kind of investment to do this kind of work. Okay, so you have to understand the psychology of the person, the people that you're serving. Are they super corporate? How do they need to feel so that they feel great about this decision. I know for a fact that the people that I'm serving and the specific decision that I've made to work with Black and brown, melanated, brilliant, but can't make no real money in their business, but they feel like they should be making money, entrepreneurs. I know for a fact that when I show up with a best-selling book and I already have my credentials, but you know what I'm saying. When I'm outside with it, like I don't use social media at all. It's brand new. So when that turns into, oh my God, I've seen her. Oh my God, she's over here. Oh my God, those same people gonna be blowing me up all that. I know this for a fact because we have been programmed to respond to celebrity. I know this because when I was in the place that should not be named, minding my own business, not trying to teach nobody nothing, I was asked to do that. But the story, the fame, the narrative about who I am and what I was doing was all people talked about in that building, in that circle, in that community. And as a result of that, just like in my industry, worldwide, globally, people know who I am. Water comes up, my name's coming up in the rooms. I've never been to this country. They talking about dollar about. Why is that? Because that's the narrative is that strong. So when I build that same narrative around this work, I have thousands of hours of people that I've coached and they've had a breakthrough on the Zoom. I need to pull the audio, pull the testimonies. I haven't done any of that. When this word gets out in these streets, it's going to get different. I know for a fact because the person you're dealing with has to believe that them working with you is going to make them feel like they want to feel. It's going to help them become the kind of person they want to become. So that's why we have to work so hard in the beginning to control and create the narrative, to manage perception, to create a space where they can come to their own conclusion, like this solution, this provider, this person that I'm working with is going to get me this outcome. It's not based on logic, although we need the logic. We need to check the little box in there. That's just so they can go explain to their husband why they charge their credit card $1,200. But the real magic, if you will, it comes in that moment where yep, she gonna get me there. I'm doing this. And then then the prefrontal cortex goes and makes a reasoning for that decision, but it's an emotional decision. It happens at the nervous system level, in the limbic system of the brain. So when somebody says no, they're also making an identity statement. They're like, I'm not ready yet. I'm not sure. I'm not convinced. I'm gonna stay where I am a little bit longer. All of that. They might choose their comfort or their past habits rather than transformation right now, and that's okay too. Either one is fine. Both of them, I'm using the word sacred. I'm saying this is you have a lot of power, okay, as an entrepreneur. So our job is not to push people, try to manipulate people, all those old school sales tactics from the books from the 1980s and all of that kind of stuff. We don't have to do none of that. Okay. Our job is to hold space for people to make the decision that's right for them in the moment, make a decision that's going to genuinely benefit them. So what genuine benefit can you provide to your audience? What is your worldview around? I just see too many people out here struggling. They're brilliant, but they've been programmed to think that they need an investor. They need a business plan, and they need Shaq's nephew to come and, sit on their board. And only, when they get another credential and another thing from, this accelerator, then they'll be good enough. And then magically they're going to make some money. And that is false programming. And I know that if I can unlock the part of you that understands that you are the value, part of you that just makes real connections with other humans and like really intensely says, what if I could solve this problem for all people for all time? What would they need? And create that experience. And I know it's true because people do it when they're doing hair. They do it when they're making art. And as athletes and entertainers, and when they're cooking food, we put our whole soul into this thing. And we have been allowed to do that historically as people of color. And those are the people that we see making millions and billions of dollars. But when it comes to doing a business, somehow we don't bring that same energy to the work. And then we wonder why it's not working. And I'm here to tell you, you can take that code, take that energy, and make sure every touch point in your business makes people feel like they want to feel, and you can automate this thing, make money in your sleep. Okay, so in Buddhism, there is a practice called deep listening or whole body listening. It's the same thing people do in meditation. They call it different names and different things. It's the same thing. When you sit with something, you're not just listening with your ears, but you are listening with your entire being. Not just listening to the person that you're talking to respond to them. Listening to really understand, to embody that energy, to hold the space, to allow for a transformation to occur. Now, nobody moves like this. I know that, but that's why 92% of people are not making no money in the business, because we have to show up as a greater, higher version of ourselves. Okay, so this type of listening is rare. Most people are so busy thinking, okay, oh my God, okay, oh my God, oh, I'm trying to get through my slides, I'm trying to, okay, I hope I close the sale, okay, da, 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 da. Like, I need you to just graduate from that energy. Graduate from that energy. And I want us by the end of this week to have a very simple system working for us that allows us to show up and be great in front of humans and invite them into our world. And make sure that we're doing that every single day. And then if they come in, like if somebody came over to the house, you got somewhere for them to sit down, take the shoes off. You got something, would you like something to drink? You got some glasses in there. Like, just have the little things that people would need as they take steps with you. Build that out and be great. You won't have any money problems. This is abundance is your birthright. Okay. So when people feel like they're truly being heard, seen, they feel like somebody's fully present with them, whether it's their pain, their struggle, their problem, their aspiration, their dream, whatever. I'm telling you, something shifts. There's healing in that. We said it the other night, motion is medicine, okay? There is no value that is ever created unless there's a gap. Start over here, you end up over here. That gap in the middle is where value gets created. So when somebody's feeling listened to and then they take an action, they move with you, there's healing in that. They're no longer the same version of themselves that they were before they heard from you. So now they're going to want what? More. So in the first part of the Afro conversation, we're asking all these questions. We want to know aspirations, frustrations. We're not just gathering information. We are actually holding space for these people to feel like they want to feel. A lot of people maybe have never had somebody sit there and take the time to really listen without making them feel stupid. Like, I should know this already. I got 3 master's degrees, but I can't figure out how to update my website. They might feel dumb. And you're like, no, it's okay. You're not alone. A lot of people have this problem. Matter of fact, here are the top 10 problems, like things they didn't even know to articulate, things they just been struggling with. You're like, nope, you're not the only one. People are outside with these brilliant gifts, ideas, and inventions and things like that. And they literally can't figure out how to, I know I got something in my head, but it's like, what do I do? And then you sit here, watch people who don't have something that you feel like is as innovative as what you have, or don't have the level of expertise that you have, but they're out here making money. And you're like, what's the problem? And who do I talk to about that? I'm providing a space for that. That's what I do here in the Dollhouse. And when people feel given that space, you're already providing value, even before you offer a solution. So that's where you have to remain, one of my favorite words now, detached. Okay. The more detached you are, the more you're just holding space, the more sales you're going to make. That means you got to be present. Because when you're needing the sale, depending on the sale, got to make rent and all of that, you got to figure out how to build your systems. If you need to reduce your monthly expenses, whatever you have to do so that you're not bringing that level of, desperation to it. We don't want that energy signature attached to anything we do. Okay. I'm helping y'all to overcome any resistance to not just talking to humans, but I need you to build a system where you do this every day. Do you eat every day? You get dressed every day. Well, maybe you don't, but even if you're in your pajamas, you're going to get up, certain things you're going to do every day, right? I need you to intentionally put an energetic signature out to humans regarding your business every single day, or at least every working day. All right. And that includes, not limited to, your email newsletter, your podcast, your blog, your well, not really a website, unless something is bringing them into your website, right? Videos, things that you're putting on social media, a WhatsApp group or a Facebook group. And my favorite, literally reaching out to humans and inviting them into a conversation. This is so important. To not just do it, okay, I'm stressed. Okay, do it because I'm in a challenge. Okay, do it. Oh, I'm doing it for 3 days. And then, I went back to my normal, I got to take care of my mom, or I got to, run around. No. This is, you breathe every day, right? I need us to be doing this every day. And when we're genuinely detached from it, that's when we can truly, like, whatever they do, whether they buy or not, it's fine. Either way, it's perfect, because I'm here from a place of expansion. I want to serve my purpose in the universe. Okay. I believe, if I had this thought, there's 13,000 people minimum that had the same thought. I know somebody out here really, 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 really actually needs the answer that I provide. So I'm going to make myself available to be found today. I'm a lighthouse. Okay. When you want to stop punching the clock, like working for other people, TIME, you got to reverse time. That's EMIT. We emit this light. We are sitting outside saying, hey, I got a solution. If you're looking for this, and this, if you were struggling from this, and this, I got you. And being committed to showing up and doing that every day. Just like as a human, you breathe every day, because that's what humans do. So as an entrepreneur who's cash flowing and making $5, $10, $15, $30,000 a month in your business, so you have enough to take care of your bills and make investments and take care of the family and everything, and get out of USD and get you some assets that are going to outpace inflation as they're actively crashing the US dollar right now before it's too late. But just as easy as breathing, you should be casually making those moves right now. So I need us to come from that place of spaciousness and expansion. We reset our identity, seek expansion, and you need to be showing up like that every day. And that's the energy you want to bring to making your phone calls. When you schedule that on your calendar. Yeah, I finally updated my elephant diet. I'm very proud. And the season that I'm in right now, I'm making content, like amazing amounts of content. And then I'm going to have the editors go and do the thing. Okay. So that means because I told you I don't do early morning meetings, but I have a final edit for this book because one more thing came to me. I got to make sure it's in the book. Okay. So I work on that from 10 to 11. It's not going to take me long. When I finish the book, let's say in a week, right? Guess what? That 10 to 11 slot gets opened back up. It gets opened back up. So now I can add something new to that part of my calendar, right? I have lunch. There's a lot going on in my house, but I like to cook. There's a lot of things going on. So from 11 to 1, I have household things I'm doing in the house. Okay. Then prep time from 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock. It's prep. Why? Because from 2 to 3, sometimes 4, I'm going live every day for at least 100 days. It probably will continue. I might change it again because I tried to 12:30, didn't work for me. But anyway, then same thing, personal stuff, dinner stuff, household stuff, my office, my team on the West Coast, whatever, from 4 to 6. Then 6 to 9, I'm editing. Now, sometimes I have an event during that time. Sometimes I got to, do whatever. But until I get out of this season, until I have, 30 episodes in the can for this new podcast that I'm doing, I have to be in the editing chair every day from 6 to 9. And then I'm scheduling like all my little clips and stuff that are for social media. I got to schedule it, put it in the little thing so it'll automatically post it, at the time that it's supposed to post. I got Substack articles, got right. I got all, take the transcript from what I said when I snapped over here. Now I got to put it over here. Like all of that is scheduled. Then 10 o'clock, it's back to me time. You know what I'm saying? I get to do a little research, do a little whatever, hanging out. I might watch a movie, whatever. And the next day, I'm doing it again. Now, Why? Because I'm in this season right now where I need to hit this milestone. It's like an end zone, for this drive. I've got to make sure that I have enough content that if somebody hits my page, it's like 30, 50, 100, whatever videos on there, depending on my average length of videos or podcasts, right? I got to do a whole season of a podcast where I'm going into all the history. Did y'all know that Trump got the idea for taking Greenland from the founder or the heir to the Estee Lauder company, cosmetic company? These are the stories that I'm telling on my podcast, okay? And I got to make sure there's enough in there. So for this season of my life, I have committed my time to the activities that it's going to require to hit that milestone. And what I'm saying, we have to shift. We can no longer continue to kind of float in the energy of, oh, yeah, I got some ideas, but I'm still running over here. I'm running to soccer practice. I'm running to this. I'm helping my daughter with this, helping my sister with that. I'm doing this and doing it. And you never intentionally make sure that you are talking to actual humans, set you a goal for the day or the week, and like bringing them, inviting them into something that you're building, right? Until you get 100 people on your email list, until you get, whatever that goal is, 50 people coming to your Zoom thing or whatever that is. How intentional are you going to be about it for that season? Because once you get it done, once it comes out of the cocoon, comes out of the oven, then you good. Mr. Secretary, you recommend booking time on my calendar just to reach out. Explain that question. I don't know why I'm not understanding the question, Micaiah. Once you come out of that season.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. Wait 1 second. Once you come out of that season, you can, readjust and go to something else. But if we never give it that time, like the baby in the womb, like the thing in the oven, you'll never get that next outcome. So we get stuck on levels in our business because we don't go crazy and kind of dedicate, set aside time to something that's new for us until it becomes a part of what we do until we get the outcome. That was the point I was making. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. I think you just answered it for me, but I was saying, so I've been blocking out time for certain things like, update this, do my social content here, different things. And I'm wondering, should I schedule time to reach out to people too? Or do I just randomly do that? Because I texted my best friend this morning. I texted my sister. I was like, hey, I need to talk to you. I need a 15 minutes of your time. Or, I told my sister I could take her to lunch or whatever. But they're both business owners. So I wanted to kind of start with them to get myself, in the mode, because I did talk to Shalonda, and that gave me some confidence because she's looking over my recommendation that I sent her on Friday for website maintenance. So that's exciting. And I'm just wondering, should I dedicate a specific time for it, or is it okay to be random about that?
I'm going to say yes, and I would want you to do both. So we're following spirit, we're reaching out. Oh, I just thought about this person, all of that. Love that. And also, it's the difference between being a really great church singer. Like, I'm good at this. It's Sunday. I ain't been to church in a while, but I decided to go to the choir rehearsal last Thursday, and they passed me the mic, and boy, I showed out. And so much so that they're like, oh, you got to sing this on Sunday. So next Sunday, I'm singing the song. Wasn't it great? And everybody was there, and all my cousins came. And they were like, this was amazing. Versus, I want to be featured at the Oscars and the Grammys next year and nominated as Best New Artist, and to actually get paid to do this, where I don't have to worry about, am I going to have somewhere to sing next week, next month, next year? Is anybody going to be checking for me? Is anybody going to be streaming my songs 5 years from now? You're going to be showing up on a very consistent schedule to get that second outcome versus the first one.
Right.
And yes, so that's what I'm doing. I'm holding space for the few good men and women, okay, who are serious about being on the other side of this, right? Yes, because
I am building my community too. So
I love
I'm on it.
I love it. We just, what I'm saying? It's just like nobody moves like this. But that's why nobody gets these outcomes, right? I want y'all to be professional money makers in your business. Professionals, not just entrepreneurs. We are whole founders and CEOs out here. We got real income coming in. And I want us to have a season of our life where we're dedicated to going from, okay, I got this idea, I'm kind of floating. I mean, I kind of know a little bit about what I want to do. I'm not really sure. We don't have to stay in that mode forever. We can put this thing in the oven, in the cocoon, in the womb, do the womb of the work, okay? And this part where it doesn't feel clear, it's always dark when things are being created, you know. Roots go down before they go up. Like getting in there and intentionally saying, you know, I'm showing up, I'm reaching out. So here's the thing. If you set a time for reaching out, in addition to spirit, you know, and all of that, but if you set a time every day or 3 days a week or whatever to reach out to people, and after day 2, you've run out of people, air quote. It's like, I don't know who else to reach. Guess what you're going to have to do? It's going to cause you to stretch. You're going to have to grow. You're going to have to come up with some ideas. You're going to have to tap into source. You're going to have to meditate. You're going to have to read some books. You're going to have to find it. Because you're not going to get this outcome of millions and millions of dollars in a business being the old version of you. Because if you could do it as the old version of you, you would have already done it. So when you set a time and you're like, man, I don't even know who to call right now, but I can take 30 minutes of this 2-hour block and make sure I'm working on my Afro method. And let me get in here and work on my pitch. Let me get in here and study some more stuff, right? Then I could go, And then intuition has now a space to speak. You know, let me go back through my LinkedIn. Remember, I went to this conference last summer and I didn't call none of the people back. Okay, let me make a list. Now I got something to do for the next week. Calling those people back. Or it's like, you know, I read this book. I remember that years ago, and I had all these notes in the margin. That's what I'm going to do. And, you know, what's that book about never eat lunch alone or whatever it is? You know, I said I was going to do this and this and this, and I never did it. Now you got a time on your schedule to do it. Or let me go through my LinkedIn. Every single person that I used to work with, went to college with, like, don't give up. Like, how do I say this? This is the part where it's like people, you know, we see these stories of people who've become, you know, Hailey Bieber just sold her makeup skincare line for $1 billion or something, and she just started it in 2020. Now she has what I'm trying to help you guys to build, which is what all these celebrities have when they start a business, which is why they do well, because they don't know what they're doing. That's why they always hire outside team, but they have community. They have people who wake up in the morning and they know who they are and they're thinking about them, and they have shifted their identity to say, I'm a fan of this person. I rock with this person. I like how when they show up, I just like her, you know, like whatever that is. And so then they trust them and they say, hey, I got this new thing. I got to go over here. They're like, oh yeah. And they do it. So you start out with a community who will follow you anywhere. I want you to build that asset in your business. So the first asset of the system is your pitch. The second, if you go through the 7 C's of social capital, what comes out the other side of that is all this social proof and a community of people who rock with you, who will move. When you say move, they're going to be like, okay, where we going? What we doing? That's the secret code. That's my favorite thing to say. What we doing? Like, you don't have enough people checking for you. And so if we will dedicate time to building that in this part of the video game, when you get to the end and the big boss, it's not a problem. It's not hard. It's like somebody who's playing Mario and they used all the cheat codes and found it online somewhere, and so they skipped and all that kind of stuff. If you don't learn these skills now, the struggle will be real later on, and it's hard to come back from that, especially when it's like the end of the world or whatever. So what I'm holding space for all of you guys is to do this part now, the part that feels uncomfortable, the part that feels extra, because the future version of yourself that has what you said you want has successfully passed this level of the video game. And every time you choose not to show up intentionally, you're choosing the future self, the 18 months from now, the 2 years from now, who's kind of floating around. And now I'm on another thing. Now my friend told me about this investment. And now I'm trying this. And now you're just kind of floating. You've never really built a foundation in this work that you said you want to do. And it's okay to pivot. It's okay to change your business idea, but don't let it be because you haven't done this work. Don't just keep floating from thing to thing because you don't want to lock in and do this work. So the last example that I'll give about this is, I talk about the place that should not be named, and there's accelerators and incubators and, tech accelerators and all this kind of stuff. And what I know for sure, after having either been invited to or participated in every tech accelerator there is, all of them. And what I know people who did the Y Combinator, I turned them down. Tech Stars, I turned them down. I speak for them now. But what I know for sure is that paperwork you sign is okay, no. But also, Y Combinator, that don't make you great. You would never know this person. You Google them right now, you can't find them. People are out of business. The accelerator or the stamp or the credibility of the program doesn't make you or make your business. It is the people who show up consistently for the programming, but also they're in the building when nobody else is there. They are basically always there. So everybody knows them. They start building these social connections, these relationships, the narrative about who they are, what they do, the service, the product that they provide starts to take on a life of its own in that community. Those are the people who start getting the recommendations. They start getting a phone call. They start getting, the head of the program has been watching you. Our head investor, the one who wrote the first check to start this program, has asked for a meeting with you. How does that happen? It's the ones who lock in. So whether you're doing that in an external environment, like in school or in a program, or you're creating that structure yourself, the more dedicated and the more structured you are, the faster your results are going to be in your business. Learning how to show up on social media and get somebody to actually respond and engage is a skill. You can learn it. The faster you dedicate time to getting that done, the quicker you'll see the fruits of doing that work. Okay, so it's not about being fake. It's not about trying to pretend like you're doing something. It's literally dedicating yourself to becoming that version of yourself and being detached from the outcome. So we're not reaching out, creating content out of stress, anger, anxiety, desperation. Oh my God, none of that. It's like, I'm going to create the greatest. This is going to be so great for people. People are going to just get whatever it is. I'm creating something amazing. It's like working on a new recipe or working on a new song. You know what I mean? Come from that place, and then, making a sale and doing all that will become effortless. It'll become a byproduct. So I'm suggesting coming from an energetic place that is detached and expansive, doing it on a very consistent, intentional schedule, not just when you feel like it, not just when spirit moves, okay? And treating it like a skill that you're developing. And meaning, like, I'm doing this thing, I'm looking for an outcome. I'm making an adjustment, I'm looking for an outcome. You have to have that feedback loop. And it's like breathing. Now it's like breathing. Oh, so then if I do it all the time, every day, if you wake up, breathe, eat some food, walk around, talk to humans, go to bed, do it again. The baby does that every day, the baby's going to grow. It's encoded in the system. You don't have to be like, I hope the baby grows. Like, it's going to grow. But if you don't do those things every day, you're going to have issues. That's the switch we're making. Okay. So now this allows you to get through, like, I'm teaching them basically a sales class right now. This allows you to get through objections really easily, because if somebody's like, oh, it's too expensive, I don't have time, I need to think about it, ain't got nothing to do with you. They're telling you exactly what they're looking for. They're telling you what parts of your pitch maybe aren't as clear, what might be blocking them, or maybe your offer was way up here and they're actually right here. So you need to come down to where they are. All right. Every objection is a mirror. It's reflecting back to you something that they might be struggling with. It shows you where their beliefs are. The more I teach you about how beliefs affect you, now you can understand how your clients are moving and meet them where they are. Create space to talk about the emotional state that they're in versus what it's going to take to get the outcome they're looking for. And that's what I'm saying. The more we elevate the way we talk about and think about our own work, and the more we show up for ourselves that way, the easier it's going to be for people to kind of walk with you in that journey. So this is the energy. So when you're trying to close and do all of that, it's an invitation. Like I said, we stop talking. You ask the question, you breathe, you're holding space, you let them answer, let them know. It's whatever. It's whatever. It's whatever. You stop talking. So let them decide what they want to do. Let the system work. Okay, so if they say yes, they've given you their trust. I believe you can help me. I'm ready to invest in myself. I'm choosing transformation. That's a beautiful thing. That deserves reverence. That's why we take time. We take notes. We put it down. It's not this, woo, I made a sale and then we're out. Like we treat it like it's supposed to be treated. And just allow that flow to happen. Because that's like, I don't know if y'all have ever been on stages and stuff, but there's something that happens when you just do that thing and you just sing the thing and then you could feel it. The audience is like, it's just a moment. Like nothing replaces that and nobody forgets it. You can encode your business to be like this. Like it don't have to be a struggle and to be this deep, like seriously. So if they say no, it's also fine. We bless that too. Like energetically, it's fine. They're not ready. It's not their time. They're not my client. It's whatever. Maybe in 3 months, maybe in a year, put them on your list. We're moving on. And just let it be that. Let it be that, y'all. I really want to stop talking because I know that this shift is something that is hard for us, either because we don't have real clarity about the problem we solve and the transformation we provide, or we don't want to do the work of creating all these great, amazing spaces and experiences for people. And then we don't want to schedule time every day to talk to humans until it's like breathing. Like every day I got people on my calendar. Every day I got somewhere to go or a way to show up where people are getting my message. Every day. Now I got an archive of thought leadership where I'm on the island and people are still hearing my message and connecting with this world that I built for them. Every day. If you have that in place, you'll never not make money. But I know it's a challenge. So I want to honor that and allow us to have a conversation about it. Because I know that people are not doing this, which is why they're struggling in business. But those who are doing it subconsciously, I want you to be aware of what you're doing so you don't let somebody else come in and break your business. Like your partners or somebody that you bring on and hire later, and they start being real aggressive and they get in hustle energy. It's like, no. You protect this part of your business and you'll never be out of business. So any comments, questions, thoughts? Because I really love giving y'all some time back. I love not teaching for 2 hours straight, although you know I can. But I want to make sure if anybody has any commentary around, are we still having struggles? Are we still resisting reaching out to people? Are we not sure who to reach out to? What are some challenges around this part? Because this is the engine starting part. Go ahead, Tracy.
It's so great to log in, even though I came in super late. You look absolutely fabulous. I just showed my mom. I said, Mom, this is my coach. She's like, I know. And I was telling her how when you were on the on the elevator and they were like, are you Haitian? So I said, I love that. When I hear you speaking right now, because I'm going through it too, and it's like I came in exactly what I needed to hear. It was sort of like the Matrix, you know. I feel like the Kita in the bee, like our fear is that we're more powerful beyond measures. And I'm trying to understand, because you're hitting it right, but why is it so hard to buck this narrative? Like it's almost painful, and it makes me feel sick. It makes me feel sick to my stomach, because being here, like financially unequipped, like I just got my student loan thing. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, damn this shit. And I'm watching this and I'm like, that's painful. And then when I think about doing the work to talk to humans in a real way, because you know, you could fake do it too, then I feel you're right. We don't know the transformation that we're giving, which feels weird because we're the one that's holding the service. But you're right. Every time I'm thinking about the transformation, I'm like, what is the transformation? So what? I don't know. It almost feels like we have to be like an owl has to take off. How did they, when they take off your skull, you have to rebirth yourself. So how do you, like, you're talking the stuff and you're giving it to us, but then when you get off the phone with us, the energy is there. I feel like I came in right on time.
Mm-hmm.
Yet then I'm with myself and I'm scared of me. So how do I stop being scared of me?
Tracy, if there was an award for people asking the best questions, you would get that award. This is what I realized. I'm gonna be honest with you. I realized, like I said, doing this work, I've done it a long time. I'm very clear. I'm not confused. I know my people like celebrity. They like to be outside. They love it, So when I put all the little bells and whistles stuff, it's just gonna be people in here because they think it's a party. Ooh, it's entertainment. But I want to work with the ones who want to do this work. And what you just said is the key. Most of us do not want to face ourselves. Because when I keep saying to you, you are the value. It's not outside of you. You don't need another credential. You don't need another accelerator program. You don't need, Damon John them to come and co-sign you. You could do this. Start it literally from zero and go make millions of dollars right now with your mind. Abundance is your birthright. When I say that, it's one or two things. Oh, yeah, no. And they want to keep looking for a new framework. I'm not going to teach new framework. I'm going to teach the same frameworks until 100 people are out here, $10, $20, $50,000 a month. What we doing, dog? I got too much money. I don't know what to do. Can we talk about taxes? Then we could talk about that. So that's number one. But I realized that it's either they just don't believe it ain't slowing down. But when you get to the core of it, it requires you to face yourself. If you look yourself in the mirror and you say, I know that I'm brilliant. I know that this idea, wherever it came from, right? I know ... I got the skill. I got the background. I've got the network. I got this, whatever that is. You're convinced. Okay. To the point where you started a business or you actually stepped out. You actually told your family or your partners, okay, this is what I'm about to do. I'm doing it. From that moment, any gap between you doing it and you having the outcome you're looking for, either you're going to keep thinking it's outside of yourself, which is what we've been programmed to believe, which is what all the other entrepreneurship platforms and programs are designed to do, is to have you chasing something outside of yourself. You need another certification. You need this. You need that. Yeah. Or we have to face the fact that it's me. It's something that I need to shift. Now, when you make that distinction and you're like, okay, I need to grow. Personal development and business development are the same thing. My business is only going to go as far as I'm going as a person, as a leader, as that version of myself. Okay. Then if you really had a pure heart when it came to that and you weren't judging yourself, if you never met me and you just locked in and followed intuition, you would still get where you're trying to go. But intuition has led you here. Intuition has given you a coach that's literally saying, okay, so knowing that it is you, that you can make a shift and speed this thing up and do what you need to do. And here's the tool. Here's how to do it. You don't have to figure it out by trial and error later. I'm literally giving it to you. So then now it's like Indiana Jones. Now you got the little journal with the little map. And it's telling you exactly what, okay, do this, do this. Now it comes down to, am I the version of me who's just going to know that I have that over there on the table and I still keep going to lunch and just watching TV all in the middle of the day and just getting caught up in my family's drama and never really making time for this part? No different than if you want to lose, 100 pounds or you wanted to ... anything. Am I going to just know the answers over there, pay for a program, pay for this, to do something like that, but never really implement it, but I have it there? Or am I going to lock into this cocoon and become the version of myself that's showing up in this way until it gets different, until it comes out of the oven, right? Until this transformation, metamorphosis thing is complete. And I can't make that choice for you. Only you can do that. But it's so critical. You literally have to choose. There's no longer going to be a gap between me and the version of myself that's out here cash flowing and winning. Because I'm telling you, okay, simple math, because I know y'all listen, this is a real thing. Okay. let's say you have something that costs $500. Okay. If you grow your community, grow your platform, your narrative is out in the streets to the point where 200 people see the value, rocking with it, and rocking with you. That's $100,000. If you charge, I got somebody in the doghouse right now. It's like life coaching. I don't know what they do, something like that. And they said, man, they charge $500, whatever, a month, I think it is. And you got a program that comes with it, whatever it is. It's like dating. It's like, those matchmakers that charge tens of thousands of dollars. They do that, but it's only $500 a month. And she said, if I could just make $10,000 a month, I'll be out here winning. I said, great. So all you need is what I'm hearing. You need 20 clients. And she had to pause. And she was like, yeah. And I said, they pay per month, right? Because, you work with them until they get whatever they're. She said, yeah. I said, okay. 20 clients paying you $500 a month. And then you have some new ones rotating in. So like, I found the love of my life, so I'm out of your program, but you got somebody else in there. Okay. So let's call it a universe of 20 to 30 people at any time. Yeah. And you're going to be making, what is that? $120,000 a year? Yeah. Does your whole life get different? Yeah. What could you do? What could you do? That's a joke. I can't tell that joke. Take too long. But with an extra $10,000 a month, you know what I'm saying? Like everything just got different. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. So to me, I'm like, okay, that means run. That means we got it. Eureka. Now it's like run. Like now we go crazy until now we got tools. We know what to do. We got a framework. We know how to show up on social. We got like doing everything you can do till you have 20 people paying you and 30 people on your waiting list at any given time. You're taking applications now. Right? I mean, am I right? Am I missing? She's like, yeah. So the question is, why aren't you doing that? And you really have to sit with yourself. You really have to just, and I'm telling you, the answer is we have still not broken up with the old version of ourselves. There's a version of me that is not finna get on here for no reason at no time and do nothing every single day at 2:00. What are we talking about? I don't have to. What you mean? Like all of that. Okay. Versus I know what I'm supposed to be doing. I know I'm gonna have a problem with the ancestors if I don't do this work. And I know that there are people out here who are gonna get caught up if I don't put this information out here. So let it not be on me that there are families and babies who were not able to get out the way and they got trapped in a digital control grid that they're building for us. They're going to be announcing January 19th at Davos in Switzerland. Let it not be because I didn't say what I was supposed to say and put it out here in the ether. Now, if people don't watch the YouTube video, people don't show up to the Zoom, if people see the book and they buy it because it looks cool with the green, little cover that we made and they leave it on the shelf and they don't read it. If they, they download all the podcasts and do all of that, but they don't listen, that's no longer on me. And I have to make peace with that version of myself, which means I'm breaking up with the one who said 2 years ago, I'm retiring. Like, I didn't know I could retire at this age, but I can, and I am, and I'm out. And no longer allow for that to just kind of float. Well, I don't have to do this, so, I'm not going to do it. Does this matter if I do this? Or what are people going to think? I mean, I have this whole tech company and and I'm sitting here talking about entrepreneurship all day. Like, what are they going to think? This doesn't really align with the Ain't nobody got time. There's no middle ground. It's either I'm going to show up as the old version of myself or I'm going to show up as the new version of myself. I chose the new one. Collapse the gap. So now it turns into my schedule. Therefore, every day at 2 o'clock, I'm doing this, which means every day at 1 o'clock, I'm doing prep, which means every day at 10 o'clock, I'm doing research, which means every day at 11, I got to prepare the little food thing for the household so they can be fine, because I'm not coming out of the room for 6 hours. Because I got to record and I got to go to the podcast. I got to change clothes twice. I got to find some lights. I got to research this. I got to do this. I got to do some editing. Got to find the tools. I got to da. And then I'm done at 9 o'clock. I have to be her every day, all day, every day, until I get to the point where it worked, y'all. It worked. Oh my God. And now I can hire some people to do some of that stuff, right? Or I have enough body of work to where, it's there or whatever. But they can't be like, oh yeah, I'm going to do it, but I'm not doing it. Like if I want to do it and I'm doing it, it has to be the same thing. Collapse the gap. So it's not a judgment. It's not like, oh, I'm a bad person, or oh, I don't have the willpower, or oh, like it's not that. It's literally every moment of every day. It's just as close to you as your breath. You're not like, oh, I want to breathe. I wish I could breathe. You're present and you're breathing. So I'm present with the version of myself that's doing the thing that I said I'm going to do. I've made it clear what my priorities are for this year, for this season of my life. And I'm aligning everything I do all day, every day with that. Because I know how close, it's just as close. It's always right here, and time is always now. Like it's no further than me changing the radio station. If I'm on 94.9 and I'm like, I'm tired of this rock music, you know what I'm saying? I've been doing this a long time and I really want today's hip hop, R&B, and the classics. I am just ready right now. Well, how far away is that? It's not. But I have to change the radio station. So the version of yourself who heard a song one time and somebody heard you singing in the back of the church and they said, oh, you have a nice voice. You say, okay, cool. And, the version of Whitney Houston, right, that just did that. And then they're like, oh, we love when you sing. So then she chilling and doing whatever she want to do. And then, every couple of Sundays, twice a month, they call her up to the thing. She just pick up the mic and just go ahead and sing and then go back, sit down at her church in New Jersey versus Whitney Houston. The difference is the showing up, the practicing, the getting in there with her mama, Sissy, shout out to Sissy, doing the voice lessons, learning how to stand on stage, learning how to emote and do all the things, the enunciation, the articulation, the do it again, the rehearsal, so that you embody this thing. This is who I am now. It's not like something I thought about doing. Oh, it could happen. I'm a different person now. So everybody's not ready for that. Everybody's not ready to face what that means. And sometimes, like you said, there's fear. Sometimes it's our belief system. All of that has to be dealt with. This is why we have to meditate. It's one of the 7 habits of high value entrepreneurs. You literally have to do this inner work. There's an inner game and an outer game. And like the reason why teaching this to melanated people is different from teaching it to let's say, melanated people. Capitalism wasn't built for us, it was built on us and all of that. But more importantly, there is a level of programming. There's a frequency. There's a lack or a fear or I'm not sure if this is going to work that we have ingrained in us. They don't have. I'm not saying across the board, but I will say, like, one of my mentors, I talk about her all the time, and I'm gonna let y'all go. She was at Harvard Business School when I was an undergrad, but I didn't know her then. Ended up shadowing her and working for her company, helped her get on the Inc. 500 list. Those little, what do you call those things where you sell for a fundraiser for a football game? It's like coupons to all the local restaurant stuff. Her dad had the first one of those ever, companies like that, and she started a version of that. Anyway, she said when she was a little girl, she's 6, 7, 8 years old. She's playing with her toys and doing whatever in the living room. She's under the chair. Her dad is having a business meeting with his business partners. They writing on the board. They're doing this, doing that. They need something. They call Uncle Bob. He worked for the bank. They need something else. They call, my homie from college that's a lawyer. He hooked me up. Oh, I need something. He called I know the man who's the regional head of this for Chick-fil-A or whatever it was. Like there's a spirit of, not necessarily that they all grow up rich, but there's an idea of, I know the local banker. I know the guy who can get me into wherever spaces. So I'm not feeling like disconnected. I'm not feeling like I don't have access. I'm not feeling like I don't know if this is for me. I don't know where it's going to come from. Like they don't have that ingrained in them. We got to get that out of us, a lot of us. And all of that factors into, they're programming us to just keep watching entertainment. That's why I started this episode today. I Googled it. I said, let me go see what the Breakfast Club is talking about right now. The first thing on there, such and such girl from TikTok. Like these people aren't even celebrities. Like, why are these people famous? But such and such from TikTok was married to the man, and then she caught him cheating, and so now they're getting a divorce. Why is this top of every Black media? This is one of their top 3 stories. Why is this important? When it's a global financial reset happening right now, you know what I mean? So we've been programmed to just keep watching entertainers and keep watching sports and keep doing this. And of course I'm watching. I watched the game last night. Well, that wasn't a good one. The Bears game was a good one, but you know what I'm saying? We could do all of that, but also let's show up for this version of ourselves that has what we actually want, because it's not far. How long? Not long. I feel like Martin Luther King. It's not, y'all. I don't like saying it's not hard because then people want to get mad at me. But I'm just telling you, everything you want is right here, right now. You just have to change the station. And that's every moment, every breath, every decision, every time. Okay. Da, 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 da. And if you fall off, guess what? Get back up again. That's it. You just do it again. And like I said, intuition has brought you here. Like you could be anywhere, but like we're locking in. Like I'm literally like I have a gift of teaching. Everybody can't teach. There are many, many wealthy people who really, really care about other people, who really want to see people win, who don't have the gift of teaching. I have a gift. So I'm here like breaking it down. Okay, blah, 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 blah. Do it like this. Like, okay, I got all these frameworks and things. Like we could do this. These are for our data collecting when we talk to humans. Yes. So let's get to the 6 questions and we're out. When you're doing the Afro method, remember I talk about this all the time. The way to actually pull this information out of people. Some people say, well, I know I'm supposed to get them to talk about their aspirations, but how do I do that? So we start out with these 6 questions, right? And let them fully answer. Don't rush them. Like when you're having these 15-minute, can I talk to you for 15-minute kind of conversations? This is what we want to do. So, you're like, okay, I'm working on a solution to help, certain kind of person I help go from problem state to solution state, right? I wanted to get your perspective. And so can you relate to that? Do you have any experience with that? What are your goals in relation to this? Like, why did you start your business? Like, get them talking, right? You're listening for a specific language, emotional words, how they describe their pain. Use your voice recorder or whatever. Try to get their exact language that they use. Okay. Sometimes I just have Otter running on my phone when I'm in a meeting, because then when I'm done, I already have the transcript. Bloop, bloop, done. Like don't do too much work. Don't double work yourself. Okay. So you can ask them. That's question number 1. Number 2, you can say, if you had a magic wand that you were waving, what would success look like for you? Like, what are they really aiming for? That's what we mean by aspiration. Like, what is it that they're trying to do? Like, I'm not calling no names, but somebody said that our current leader is dealing with this. But I read a book years ago. I don't think that's the title of it, but it basically was about JP Morgan and the fact that he's a megalomaniac. Do y'all know that phrase, the term? I don't know if that's the name of the book. It's a pretty good book. It's just a biography, and they weren't hating. They were just like saying, this dude is driven by certain, this is what makes him tick. And that's what you want to know when you're doing, the Afro method. You want to know what makes them tick. What does success look like to them? You're listening for their vision, what they're trying to create, and what's the gap between where they are and where they want to be. If this problem were solved overnight, how would you feel? How would that impact your life? Again, we're listening for emotion. This is moving in from the intellectual. You don't want just intellectual corporate answers. You want emotional language. How they would feel if things were different, because emotion is what drives purchasing decisions. Okay. Question number 4, what's the biggest thing stopping you from getting there? This is when we're getting towards the frustrations, right? But what do they see as the obstacle? What are their self-perceived challenges? Not necessarily that they're real, but it's what they perceive or believe to be in their way. What have you tried before that hasn't worked, right? Now we're on the frustration part. Listening for past attempts, failed solutions. I wish I had met you 2 years ago. Well, what were you doing 2 years ago? And a lot of people, I found out they done spent $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 on to BS, and then they want to get mad at me because they ran out of their savings. And they, what you want me to do? But I keep my prices low for that reason, because I know who I'm called to serve. Okay. But I have no interest in you going and getting a loan and pulling your money out your 401k and all of that. You ain't got to do all that over here. But you want to know past attempts, failed solutions, what they've already invested in. You got to find their belief system. What do they think is going to work? How much incredulity are they bringing to the work? It tells you what not to sound like as you're talking. And then you can ask them, what's at stake for you if you don't find a solution to this problem? Because we want to know the urgency, the cost, the pain. Like some people, I'd be like, it's not that big of a deal. I just got married. My husband's wealthy, like whatever. I mean, I want to do this business, but it's whatever. You know what I'm saying? So they're probably going to be, dabbing in and out. Versus somebody who's like, nope, I got to get this done right now. I'm locked in, like like this is my moment, like for whatever the reason is, so that urgency, that cost, the pain, the weight of not solving this, right? But what also happens when you ask these types of questions, they are going to feel deeply seen, and you'll have that clear, complete picture of the problem, their desire, and what's at stake for them. This is where you can transition now, and you can come in and say, I relate to that. This is exactly why I do this work, and then you mirror back to them. I've heard this from all of my clients, and now we're going to a 5-star pitch. But you're connecting everything that they told you when you share your 5-star pitch. It's not a robotic thing. Yes, if you're having this conversation, even before you get to the conversation, they should be in our CRM that we worked on the other day in the Airtable, right? This is a warm contact unless they say, don't contact me again, right? There's somebody that's on your list, because if they're in your nurture sequence, okay, you can note that. But all the other steps before that, got to call, reached out to them, got the call scheduled, had the conversation, they asked for a follow-up in 30 days, all of that stuff, yes, goes in your CRM. And make sure that it stays personal, relevant, and very clear to them that you're responding directly to what they said. Now, it's not because you're trying to sell them anything. It's because you want clear feedback from the marketplace that the way you talk about this gets an immediate response. You don't want, okay, that's good information. Thank you for that. I'll keep you in mind if I ever need you in the future, your services. You want, oh my God, ... Yo, man, You want them to feel something where they got to, next time they talk to their homeboy, it's like, oh my God, I don't even need, we just paid all this money for a website. I wish I had known this guy, and they talking about you. That's what you want. So let them reflect back to you and basically sell themselves. So if you do this and you talk about your pitch and do all that, but you're not really making an offer, no, we don't start with our pitch. We start with getting them talking. That's exactly what we want to do. So the aspirations and the frustration, which is these 6 questions, we start the conversation there. Oh my God, thank you so much for meeting. I really want to get your perspective. I really want to know, kind of how you see it based on your, I know you've had a lot of experience in this field or whatever. So, and then you start with the 6 questions. Going into that gives you the frustrations and the aspirations. And then you say, I totally understand that. This is why I'm doing the work that I'm doing. And then you go into the pitch. Mm-hmm. And then once you do that, you stop talking long enough to see if it's reflected back to you. Okay, so we don't have to rush. We're saying, what stood out to you? I'm designing tools and resources to help people go from this problem state to the solution state. This is basically how you end the pitch part of what we're talking about. And that's why your feedback and all this perspective is so important to me. What stood out to you about what I just said? And let them reflect. Let them process. They're going to articulate if it resonated, or they're going to be like, oh, I don't know. It sounds like everything else I've ever heard. You want to know that. They will reveal their level of interest, to see if there's something that they need. I've been looking for this, or somebody that they know, or whatever. So it's either going to be high energy, high interest, exactly what I'm looking for. That's what I'm struggling with. I was thinking about this, or it's going to be medium interest. Like, I'm interested, never thought about it that way. Okay. Or it's going to be low interest. Yeah, okay, that's cute, but Everybody talking about that, or I don't need that no more, or whatever. So if they have a high interest or possibly medium interest, that's when you can go into the opportunity, because it's really, again, it's not a sale. Based on what I heard you say, this is what I recommend. I've been doing this a long time. Here's what I recommend you do. And you can give them some real value right there in the conversation. And then it's like, actually, there could be an opportunity for us to work together, especially if they're still showing interest after you tell them that. Because, I just started a program, I'm doing a cohort, I'm working on this, I got space for 2 more clients, like whatever that is. And that's it. And then you can make your offer and stop talking. So I wanted to get you guys to the point where you feel great, not just good, but great and equipped to go out and have these conversations with people. Put it in your schedule to do so. Never go into any of these calls with anxiety. Don't do that. Center yourself, because the energy that you bring into it is an energetic signature. You got questions now. You know exactly how to start the conversation, how to frame it, how to be great. You're updating your CRM. So like if you're out in the street, you meet somebody, oh my God, keep in touch. Let me know more about that. Boom, they go in my CRM. If I'm online and I'm posting and somebody hits me in my DM and LinkedIn, boom, they go in my CRM. And then of course, if I reach out and they say, yes, we want to talk, and they schedule it, you're updating your CRM. After you have this conversation, you're updating your CRM. If they end up buying something from you, you're updating your CRM. So guess what? Everything goes back to your CRM. So now all of this is no longer sitting in your head. You're no longer holding the weight of your business. Your systems are doing the work. That's going to free you up to be even more present and available for these sacred conversations. So that's it, y'all. Any other questions? It does work for phone calls. You can do it on Zoom. You can do it in person. You can Zoom, in person, phone calls. So emailing, texting, DMing, and all of that to get the meeting scheduled. We're ultimately digitizing this by creating these touch points along a journey. So eventually you don't have to talk to a person and they're still having this experience with you. That's what we're building towards. But in these early days and weeks of this work, we're either getting on the phone, we're meeting in person for coffee or whatever, or we're jumping on Zoom. It's better to do it on Zoom or in person because you can see body language, which is also giving you information. But if you have to do it on the phone, that's fine too. Just be present, really listen. Don't over talk them, let them talk, and try to record it. Like put your phone on speakerphone and turn on the recorder on your computer so you can actually capture the language that they're using. Okay, so we want to have real conversations this week, y'all, with the Afro method. If you did 5 conversations last week, I need you to do 10, 15 this week. Like really go hard in the paint. Like you're training for the Super Bowl or Grammys or, whatever your big thing would be. You can have a list, before you get on the conversation, do your preparation. That's what your CRM is for. You go back and remember what we last talked about. How do I know this person? What's going on with them? All the things, right? If you got a little part in your Calendly where people are putting notes in there, go ahead and make sure that you review that before you get on the call. Just little simple stuff. Try to stay focused. Don't have 10,000 tabs open if you can help it. I told you how to ask the questions. Make sure you listen, take notes, or record it is even better. If they, something that feels important, be conversational about it. Tell me more about that. All of the things. Like be consultative. Okay, make people feel seen, heard, understood, cared for, valued. All of that. Go into your pitch. Make it very specific to what they just told you. Ask them what stood out. Get their reflection back. If there's an opportunity, if it's not an opportunity, if you're like, this is a terrible fit, like I never want to work with this person, just be like, thank you so much. Oh my goodness, your perspective is so valuable. You can add them to the list if you want to. You keep pushing. But if it really feels like there's an opportunity, a lot of times they're going to sell you. They're going to be like, so, I mean, is this a thing that you can do for me? What about me? They'll do that. And if so, you let it naturally flow into the opportunity. Make sure you give them value first. This is what I recommend. I need you to do this, this, and this. That's what an expert sounds like. If you don't do nothing else, if we never speak again, I need you to do this, 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 and this. Now they feel like you've added value. And it's like, and if you want to work with us in doing that, here's the opportunity. Make the offer and stop talking. Y'all can do this. You can. So if all hearts and minds are clear, I'm going to do this again, same back channel / time on tomorrow. Until then, I gotta go. We're out. Pew!